Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video of Worst of Spirituality. Today's subject, Sadhguru. Yes, the man who just recently tried to illegally take down my video and silence me, except he lost the case because I was within my rights to use his video to comment and criticize. If you want to see more about that, check out this link. So if you or your social media company is watching this video and you're thinking about taking or trying to take this one down as well, please remember that the footage used in this video is used for commentary, criticism, and education, which is protected under fair use law. For those of you who want to take this opportunity to claim, as you have done before, that I am attacking Indian culture, which is something I have explained in advance that I'm not, I would like to clarify that I am against every single act of violence and exploitation and discrimination, regardless of which country, culture, and tradition it comes from, including my own background. Now that I've made this clear, and I hope I don't have to try to make it clear again in the comment section, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The magnificent Sadhguru's justification of animal abuse. I can't even believe I'm saying this about a so-called spiritual leader. So today I want to talk about his active fight against a ban of a specific festival that includes extreme cases of animal cruelty and exploitation, the Jallikattu. So for those of you who don't know, the Jallikattu is a traditional event in which a bull is released into a crowd of people and multiple human participants attempt to grab the large hump on the bull's back with both arms and hang on to it while the bull attempts to escape. Participants hold the hump for as long as possible, attempting to bring the bull to a stop. In some cases, participants must ride long enough to remove the flags on the bull's horns. When animal rights activists and organizations including PETA started releasing undercover footage that was showing how much cruelty was involved in this specific festival, the Supreme Court and many other parts of the Indian government were talking about banning it, which made thousands and thousands of people take the streets protesting against the ban, including, of course, our lovely, compassionate Sadhguru, defending the festival. Now, when I digged more into it, I found a very nice interview in which the host is actually kind of making her stance obvious, and on the other side we have Sadhguru using nothing but old logical fallacies and excuses to try to justify why this tradition should not be banned. Let's take a look at it.
These are people who have an earning, their bread to earn, yet they're skipping office and college and they are sitting there on the streets.
We need to understand, first of all, in the very beginning you said a bullfight. This is not a bullfight. This is a celebratory kind of atmosphere, this is a festival. This is the only festival dedicated to the animals. The animals are seen as partners in the making of what happens. They work for it and they get a share of their, harvest that happens in many different ways. There is no bullfight here. This is not Spain, this is not Sevilla, where bulls are killed in one afternoon, half a dozen bulls are slaughtered in
exactly.
these
So the traditional way of how this was supposed to be practiced is what you're describing, Sadhguru.
So apparently the festival itself is in honor of the animal that is getting tortured and exploited, and Sadhguru sees no problem in that because these animals have a specific relation to the humans as they are used in the agricultural system. Now, I don't know in what way do you justify exploiting an animal for your mere pleasure. This applies to every single country and every single culture, including Spain, as he mentioned. He's trying to put a difference between bullfighting in Spain and this, but both of them are old traditions during which the humans get some kind of pleasure out of exploiting other animals.
Quote from what the Supreme Court had said, they are made to move from side to side, they have got chili rubbed into their eyes, their anus, poked with sharp objects, all of this is done. So an animal which is supposed to be revered is actually being tortured. How can the practice be condoned then?
See, there is always abuse in every aspect of life which must be controlled.
Imagine someone coming up to you and saying that a dog is being beaten up, having their tails twisted, having chili rubbed into their eyes, and more horrible things happening. And you just go like, See, there's always abuse in life. I don't know if this man actually believes what he says himself. And actually, I forgot to say this, but I actually enjoy some of his content. For those of you who are just going to think I'm a hater, I've watched a lot of his videos and I think some of them are great. But it really blows my mind that this is how he replies to questions regarding animal rights.
But based on that misuse, you can't take away an entire culture which dates back to nearly 5,000 years in Tamil culture.
So we go back to appealing to tradition and culture. One point that he's trying to make is that yes, there is abuse. Thank God he's admitting that. But just because there's more abuse now than what they used to do thousands of years ago, they should not ban the festival itself. With the mindset that he has, you could basically justify any type of exploitation of any being as long as they are treated well. So you can have a circus if they're treated well and they're not extra abused. You can have slavery if they're treated well and they're not extra abused. You could basically do anything you want to any creature, any sentient being, and not use that extra abuse and get away with it if you use his justification and mindset.
There are paintings in Nilgiris, in the caves, where the Jallikattu paintings which are like 4,200, 300 years old, there are carvings which are nearly over 4,500 years. This is an ancient tradition which is a part of this.
So basically there are drawings, thousands of years old drawings in caves all around the world of human battles and fights. Therefore, we should never take away fights and wars away from humans. How can a man that is otherwise most of the time quite reasonable take part in so much logical fallacies? I can't get over it.
Because through the Jallikattu, only the winning bulls were used for breeding in the past, and even today it is being done like this. Now you ban Jallikattu, they're all queued up, in thousands they're queued up for slaughter.
Look at that guilt tripping. He claims basically that if you ban Jallikattu, people will not have that income that they currently have, and therefore they will send these animals to slaughter. Kind of the same justification he tried to use for exploiting cows for their milk. This is otherwise known as the either-or dilemma. It's another logical fallacy where you claim that there's only two outcomes out of a situation. They are either used for the Jallikattu festival or they're gonna get killed. And what a horrible person you are for wanting them to get killed, which is the narrative he's trying to use. Now, obviously, I cannot claim that there are currently, at the moment, third options that are available straight away if the festival is banned. But if you have such a big following and you claim to be a spiritual leader and you don't even question the status quo, you don't even say like, hey, this is the problem. They are either gonna get killed or exploited in festivals. Why don't we all work towards giving them a noble life without exploitation and murder? He does not even consider that as an option because in his eyes, animals are not worthy of that. If they were, he wouldn't be riding them in the first place and would be using his own two legs as many others do when they need to go somewhere.
And it's not the odd bad apple that we are talking about. According to the statistics presented, you've had scores of human beings being killed. So it's not just a violation of animal rights, but also human rights. Several more being injured, and practically every year you've got hundreds of animals who are left bloodied, if not dead.
See, we had over 120 varieties of local breeds of cattle in this country.
So for those of you who didn't pay attention to what that was, that's a red herring fallacy, where you actually provide completely irrelevant information in order to distract the people that are listening to you. So he's going to be talking about how this festival is actually helping the genetics and keeping specific species of these bulls alive by completely ignoring the question that she asked about animal exploitation and cruelty.
Today only 37 are left because there is no usefulness to them.
See, it's really disturbing that he's claiming that these animals are going extinct because they didn't have any use without even questioning why that's happening. Don't you see that the problem is actually the fact that we let them go extinct when we don't get any use out of them? Aren't you interested in protecting these animals? for their sake instead of only protecting them when you can make any use out of them?
Which is unique, which people from across the world are coming and taking this genetic pool to their countries because they find it very unique. It produces A2 milk, which has immense value for human consumption, and the bulls are of great value. Now we are sending them straight to the slaughterhouse. I don't see people who are slaughtering animals and eating them up, how they can talk about being humane to animals when people are just playing with them.
Let's remember that when a vegan tried to make a video to talk about how you are not a vegan and contribute to slaughtering animals, even though you don't eat meat, but you do kill animals in other ways because you are not even a dietary vegan, you tried to take my video down by claiming a copyright issue, and you lost that. So you have no say in this if you are not vegan. Don't try to use this thing where, oh, we should be talking about the slaughtering of animals and animals being exploited for food. You pay for that.
So Sadhguru, let me just turn that around, what you said, and turn that question around to say that the option given to this animal is either he be tortured or be sent to the slaughterhouse. So if you really want to preserve a breed, doesn't it seem a little hypocritical that this is the only choice available to the animal?
Okay, that was too good.
That's fine, Padmaja, but the reality of the country is we cannot preserve something unless it has some economic value or some social value.
So again, I do understand that there are obstacles, but as a spiritual leader, if she cannot even talk against the fact that there is no way to do that currently, then what are you trying to change in society? If you actually believe that the problem is the fact that these animals cannot be kept unless they have economical or social value, if you cannot even mention that it's actually a problem that these animals can only stay alive if they have social or economical value, then do you even care about these animals? Do you even care about changing society? Do you even care about changing the human perception of other animals?
This has both economic and social value. Otherwise, you will make these breeds go extinct. From 120 breeds that we had just about a century ago, today we have 37. How long do you think it will take for these 37 to vanish? It's going to happen very fast.
Well, if you actually think about it, you can continue slaughtering them and breeding them and they will not go extinct that way. So that argument does just not make sense. Obviously, that's not what I'm saying they should do, but that's not an argument, because the same way you're breeding them to use them for the festival, you can breed them to get them slaughtered.
The youth of the rural youth, what are they supposed to do? Till you provide them with football stadiums, boxing rings, gymnastics and the works that a youth needs, till then please don't take away Jallikattu, because that's the only sport they have.
So basically, this is a new one. If you live anywhere in the world where you don't have access to a football stadium, a boxing ring or a gymnastic stadium, you can just do whatever you want to animals as long as it involves you moving around and consider it a sport. You know, I grew up in Beirut, Lebanon. We played football in the parking area in front of the building. All we needed was a football and a couple of rocks to mark where the goal is. You don't need a football stadium to play football. We didn't have a gymnastic stadium where I was growing up. We didn't have a boxing ring. But that doesn't mean that we could have justified abusing animals just because we didn't have specific spaces built for sports. You can still run. All you need is legs for that.
It's the court which has found merit in the argument that there is mistreatment, ill treatment of animals, ill treatment to the extent that a ban was imposed.
The rights activists, No, the activists are experts in doing court battles. Farmers are not experts in doing court battles. That's all the difference is.
So apparently his argument is that the reason why this ban is going forward is because the activists are experts at court battles and the farmers are not. Now, one can probably agree with that if activists are specialized in court battles and farmers are not. But the fact is that the activists provided proof that there is extreme abuse in very high numbers.
When this festival that happened in China, where Chinese people are eating dogs, American activists are going and protesting in China that you should not eat dogs, we love dogs. Okay, we love cows, will you stop eating cows? So every culture has its own intricacies. You have to respect that for what it is.
And there we go. Sadhguru basically justifying any kind of animal exploitation, animal killing, animal torturing, animal eating, because you have to respect every single culture. And that's why I call this video Sadhguru the Animal Abuser. If you stand by animal exploitation, if you don't promote animal rights, if you talk against animal rights activists, if you defend cultures or traditions that include eating animals or exploiting animals, you are literally the same as the people doing those things. Prove me wrong. I provided the video that this man openly, as you saw, justifies eating animals and torturing animals and exploiting animals.
Okay, since you brought up this entire, the Chinese dog-eating festival, that analogy, just taking it forward, a lot of people have also pointed out the hypocrisy about how on the one hand there are voices against slaughter of the Govansh, and on the other, this sport, which does involve cruelty to members of that Govansh, is supported. How do you reconcile that, Sadhguru?
So she's calling him out straight in the face on his cognitive dissonance and hypocrisy, and let's see how he's going to reply to this one.
Sadhguru.
I'm telling you, there is no cruelty large scale. It has happened in some place.
Pay attention that he says there's no cruelty large scale, which basically means the cruelty is not large scale, which is okay. The problem is also the fact that he does not believe exploiting these animals and seeing them as sources for you to get joy out of taming them is not considered cruelty. So that's it for today's video. The video is 20 minutes long. The link is in the description below. If you want to watch all of it, feel free to do so. I think I've shown enough evidence of this man's open support and justification of animal abuse, exploitation, and suffering. That's all I need to show in order to prove my point with the title. I really wish someone as influential as Sadhguru, who can change so many people's lives, because he has changed millions of lives, would actually stop seeing other animals as commodities or resources and stop seeing them as beings that are here to serve us and start seeing them as beings that are here on this earth for the same reason that we are on this earth. They have their own lives and they should have their own bodily autonomy. They should have their own rights. They should not be taking you around because you're too lazy to take a bicycle or walk, and they should just live freely. And if anything, if we're gonna get involved, let's just protect them. Again, I'm aware that the reality in India, as a lot of you had commented on my previous video, is not as simple as I put it. I'm not claiming that there's a very quick solution to this, but if he's not even going to suggest that we should find another solution, then he's being complicit in what's going on right now. He's part of the problem because he's not challenging the problem itself. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification button so you're aware when I make new videos. And if you want to support my work, check out my website SEBALEX.org. For those of you who have been supporting it, I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video.